We, to a great extent, behave, think, react because of some previous experience that we've had. One of the things that we know about life is that it is always changing. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. But during those down moments, that's where the growth takes place. The real challenge of growth, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, comes when you get knocked down. Somebody said that adversity introduces a man to himself or a woman. How you handle it suggests this is one of the first things that you want to do when you're facing a challenge. You want to get unstuck. Evaluate where you are. Look at it. Assess yourself. Assess yourself and assess the situation. What brought you there? What role did you play? Earl Nightingale had a saying I like. He said, all of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. What has brought you to this point? What did you learn from it? Are you learning anything, or are you doing it over and over and over again? Somebody said that insanity is doing the same thing in the same way, expecting a different outcome. Are you going through it, or are you growing through it? Are you bigger and better because of it? Because it's not going to leave you until you grow through it. A friend of mine went through a divorce. My best friend. He had a wife that did not love him as much as he loved her. It was his first real true love. He was a very religious man. Did not believe in divorce. He made a mistake. And he paid for his mistake with a lot of pain, a lot of tears. And there came to a point where he knew he should have gotten a divorce. But he was stuck. He was stuck in something called revenge. He said, she's made me so miserable, I'm going to pay her back. He was stuck. And he stayed in there longer than he should have because it began to attack him. It began to affect him psychologically. And as a result of that, when he eventually did get a divorce, he took that same attitude to other relationships, looking for something to go wrong. He was burned so badly, he did not want to risk pain again. He was going in relationships trying to avoid pain. When it became too close, he would do something to make sure the relationship did not work. He would always try and find something wrong with the person because there are no perfect people. So if you look for it, you can find it. He was stuck in revenge. Another friend of mine, working on a job, loved the company very much, expected to retire there. And one day they called him in the office, asked him for his badge and identification, called the security man up, walked into his desk, told him he was fired and he had to leave then. He was devastated. And if you came anywhere near him, he will tell you his story, as we all have stories. Even when he got a job, he went on the job telling anybody who would listen how they fired him unjustly. And he always ended with, it wasn't fair. Life isn't fair. Life just is. It's not fair that birds eat worms, and they do. But he's stuck in the fact that it's not fair. I don't deserve that. They were wrong. Another friend of mine, we called him Chicken Man. He had a feather in his hat. He had a toy chicken on top of his car that he would drive around the area in downtown, blinking his lights and occasionally blowing his horn. When he got out of his car, he would walk downtown with a baby carriage with two little baby dolls in there and a picture of a woman. And when you say something to him or came near him, you would hear him making the sounds of a chicken. All of us used to laugh at Chicken Man. We didn't know Chicken Man's story. Chicken Man woke up one morning around 3 a.m. and his house was on fire. He panicked and he got out of the window and left quickly, only to get outside to hear his children and his wife screaming for help. He ran back to the door to go in to save them, and the flames were too hot, too awesome. He tried to get in, he couldn't get in. He was desperate, frantic. Pretty soon the cries stopped. They perished in the fire. His brother-in-law came, found out that his sister had died and his nieces in the fire, grabbed Chicken Man and started beating him. You chicken, why did you save my sister? You're chicken, you're chicken. When the people pulled him off, Chicken Man, they picked him up and said, are you all right? And Chicken Man looked at him and he started making the sounds of a chicken. He never ever overcame that tragedy. He was stuck from that experience. None of us knew why Chicken Man went around with this picture and these little dolls. I was reading a book on forgiveness, and they had a line in there that says, forgive and grow. Well, you see, your mind is, you know, when you go into a service station to get gas, you don't go in there and just start pumping. When you push the lever up, it clears the previous bill. By the same token, if you want to begin to move, you've got to clear your mind of all the unnecessary luggage and baggage that's weighing us down. You're going to have people to do things to you. Things are going to happen to you. And the most important thing to do is to harness your will and let it go and move so you can grow, so you can get on with your life. It doesn't matter about what happens to you. What matters is, what are you going to do about it? Huh? How long are you going to tell everybody at the bus stop and anybody who would stand and listen to you? How long are you going to repeat the same thing? Don't go around telling people what your story is. Everybody has a story. 80% don't care and 20% glad it's you. All of us got stories to tell. Chicken Man allowed his tragedy to destroy his life. All of us have experienced some tragedy, and if we haven't, we will. And you can either let it destroy your life or you can build upon it. You can permit it to let it hold you down, or you can decide, I'm not going to let that happen to me. I'm bigger than this. Make a declaration to yourself. Declare all out war that you're going to get out of this rut. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how much you work on yourself. There are some times when things aren't going to go right. They just are not going to go right. There are times when anything that can happen will happen. Murphy's Law will be knocking at your door. Why? I don't know why. That's called life. And you have to deal with it. I suggest to you that if you are facing a challenge, don't stop. Stay busy. Work your plan. Continue to do those things that you know that work for you after you have evaluated yourself in the situation. Continue to move. Stay busy, stay busy, stay busy. Repeat after me. Help somebody. And help yourself. Because what you give is what you get. Find somebody that you can help so you can forget about you for a moment. See, sometimes the best thing to do is to be. Sometimes you have to just back up and go within yourself. A bow and arrow, you can't take a bow and just push it out an arrow. You just can't push the arrow out. You have to pull it back and then release it. Sometimes you have to back up and go within and pray and meditate and recharge your batteries. Go away, clear your head, and then come back and look at it from a different vantage point. Don't operate while you're under the spell or the effect of what's going on. Next thing is that you've got to activate the thinker in you. Don't allow your emotions to control you. We are emotional, but you want to begin to discipline your emotion. If you don't discipline and contain your emotions, they will use you. Your mind goes on automatic, just like a garden. You know, weeds don't have to have any encouragement to grow. You don't have to water them. They don't have to get sunshine. They don't have to have fertile ground. They will grow through the cracks of a sidewalk. But if you want to grow orchids or roses or any kind of exotic flowers, there are special processes and procedures you must go through. Well, by the same token, you don't have to force yourself or motivate yourself to think negatively, to be depressed, to hate somebody, to want revenge, to want to get back at somebody, to beat yourself up over the head, to feel loaded with guilt. You don't have to make any effort to do that. Your mind is on automatic. It will do that by itself. But if you want to begin to move into your own personal greatness, If you want to begin to really enjoy a happy, successful, healthy life, you've got to be willing to go against the tide. You've got to be willing to harness your will and say, in spite of this, I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me. I'm coming back, and I'll be stronger and better because of it. You have got to make a declaration that this is what you stand for. You're standing up for your dreams. You're standing up for peace of mind. You're standing up for health. You want it, and you're going to go all out to have it. It's not going to be easy. When you want to change, it's not easy. If it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. But if you're serious, you'll go all out. So yes, I'm going to turn this situation around. I'm not going to sit back and moan and cry over what happened and what went wrong and who did what. I'm going to do something about this situation. The next thing that is important is that expect things to get better for you, because they are. See, life is cyclic. You're not, whatever experience you're having right now, it has not come to stay. It has come to pass. Not to stay, just to pass. It's just going through. The biggest challenge is to know what's happening. This is a part of this thing we call life. This too shall pass. See, a lot of us, because of our limited vision of ourselves, a lot of us who begin to focus on problems and enable them to overwhelm us, we begin to think that we have no options. We begin to believe that there's no way out. Repeat after me, there's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. You've got to make those kind of declarations to yourself. I'm unstoppable. This will not get me down. What are some of those things that you can do during this period of time? Go for walks. Do some things for you. Just go for a stroll so you can engage in some reflective thinking on life, on yourself, looking and enjoying the universe, smelling the roses along the way. Listen to upbeat music, music that inspires you. I have oldie but goodies. I have strategies that I engage in to recharge my batteries. A very good friend of mine died the other day. I had a program for myself. I have books that I read that inspire me, tapes that I listen to that fire me up. Because you're going to have sometimes low moments when you won't want to get out of bed. You just want to stay there. The other thing is, take full responsibility for your life. Accept where you are and the responsibility that you're going to take yourself where you want to go. Someone said we have two primary choices in life. We can either accept conditions as they exist, or we can take the responsibility to change them. See, a lot of people want to exempt themselves from taking responsibility. All they want to do is talk about the problem. Every time you see them, they'll tell you their story over and over and over and over again. No, no. You want to take responsibility for your life. I got me here, I can get me out of this. And I'm getting out. I'm not going to be a volunteer victim. George Bernard Shaw said there are two kinds of people in life. You know, he said those that make things happen, those that watch things happen, and those that don't know what happened. And he said the people that get along in this life look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they make them. They create them. So part of beginning to get unstuck, you've got to decide that the behavior pattern that you have adopted doesn't work for you. You've got to change your strategies, and changing your strategy means reinventing your life. Recreating you, and you have the power to do that. Next thing is separate what you do from who you are. That's what the guilt trap is about. All of us have done some things that if we had them to do over again, we wouldn't do it again. There are a lot of things that if I had it to do over again, if I knew then what I know now, I would have done it differently. Well, it didn't happen that way. So as you're in the process of reinventing your life, write a description of the kind of person that you want to be. What are the things that you must overcome? What qualities about your personality you know that you're going to have to change, because those particular characteristics are liabilities to you? What are your assets? What are your strong points? Look at and evaluating yourself to make that determination. Other thing is that in order to get out of a rut, we need some coaching. Find some trusted critics. People that you know care about you and love you. So there's some things that keeps us from growing and getting out of ruts. Number one, we identify with feedback. We take it personal when someone wants to give us some feedback on where we are falling short and tell us about our blind spots. We want to have everything being positive about us. We're not perfect. It hurts. I have a friend who's a trusted critic. I don't like him, but I love him. He doesn't tell me the things I want to hear. He tells me what I need to hear so I can grow. It hurts. It hurts when he put me on the hot seat. I can't stand it. But that's the only way that I can grow. And I'm glad that he loves me enough to risk our friendship to tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. The other thing is about life, when things happen to you, when you permit things to use you, you can't change the past, but you can interpret. You can reinterpret how you see it. So when you begin to look at your past, give an interpretation that empowers you. That's where I used to be. That's not where I am now. I'm growing. Now I want you to think about, in your mind right now, think about some particular event or act in your life that you feel very bad about, that you really regret that took place. If you had to do over again, you would do it differently. With that there, I want you to see yourself in your mind's eye and say to yourself, I love myself unconditionally. And I forgive myself. If I knew better, I would have done better. Let me tell you something about the mind, how it uses you. I'll tell you something super stupid that I used to do. Do you know for years I hated my mother and my father, whoever they were, because they gave me away as I thought at that point in time? And guess what? I didn't have any faces for the hatred, because I never saw either one of them. And I said, I hate them for that. And then once I forgave them and said, it's okay, had they not given me away, I would have never been blessed to have the mother that I have, who to me is the greatest mother in the world. So the universe unfolds as it should. But when I went through this process, saying forgive them, I remember in my mind as I was trying to picture these people, I had two individuals in my mind standing there with no faces because I didn't know how they look. But I released that. I let that luggage go. Think about somebody that you've hurt, somebody that you've disappointed, either deliberately or inadvertently. Look at them in your mind's eye and say, I forgive you. Whew, boy, that's a heavy load to let off. If you want to be forgiven, you better forgive somebody. Let it go so you can grow. It's not easy, but through practice and practice and practice. Practice makes what? Absolutely not. Dismantle that belief system. Practice makes improvement. You can always better your best. You can always go beyond anything that you have ever done. You'll never hit a state of perfection. You're always bigger than what you do. Read inspirational books, of course. Listen to tapes that begin to inspire you. And stay around people who will empower you. People that will help you feel good about who you are as you're in the process of transforming your life.
It's time to get real. It's time to get raw. It's time to look ourselves in the mirror and come to the resolve that this version of ourself is not going to carry us in the stretch. I've been this version of myself long enough that if I don't change, if I don't do something about this.
You a man, you don't have to show people you have what you really have. You have it. But when you're a boy and you seek attention, you need people to see what you have.
Pursue your gift and not your passion. And gifts don't have to be running, jumping, singing, dancing. teaching is a gift.
then I'm going to find myself bankrupt.
For me to understand, for me to be better, for me to be stronger, I must learn to suffer a little bit. I must learn to struggle a little bit. I cannot reap the rewards of success without understanding about struggles.
Success is not automatic. You don't get things just because you want them.
If you really have it, shouldn't it be enough that you have it? So what I'm hoping for this group, I'm asking that a group of males would make sure they transition from malehood to boyhood to adolescence to manhood and then the man's man. Malcolm was a man's man. Malcolm came out from Detroit Red to Malcolm X. When Malcolm came out, listen to me very closely, they were able to convince women to join. They couldn't get the pimps and the hustlers to do it. When Malcolm came out, Malcolm was Chicago, Detroit, New York. Malcolm was all over the world recruiting men. And I'm talking about, if y'all saw, again.
You achieve your goals only when you are disciplined enough to keep showing up when you don't feel like it.
You're going to put the blood, you're going to put the sweat, you're going to put the tears in, you're going to lose sleep, you're going to go days without eating, you're going to do whatever it takes to make the sacrifices necessary to manifest. There are too many people in your life who have left you. There are too many people in your life who have counted you out. There are too many people in your life who have whispered in your ear and said you'll be worse off without them. Prove them wrong.
Son, you're just a dreamer. That thing you're dreaming is never gonna happen. I would ask myself every single day, are you just a dreamer? Are you a person who can grind until they execute? Somebody who can make that dream a reality. Is that true?
Some of it is fiction, but some of it is true. I love it, I love it, I love it. When the Italian mob came up with the guns, Malcolm said, you got people with guns. I got men willing to die for me. What? Y'all got guns. My guys, they don't just got guns. They willing to lose their life for me. What? When the nation was up, wasn't nobody playing. When a man was on the block, they wasn't playing with Malcolm X. They wasn't playing with the Nation of Islam. They playing with us. They don't take us serious. So they don't mind driving and coming in and blowing up our neighborhood because they like, the men ain't gonna be there anyway. Go do your homework and see who was shot and killed. The men ain't gonna be there anyway. They gonna be somewhere either sleeping around, they gonna be going somewhere trying to make some money. They not gonna be at the king. You can't come to a kingdom that's protected. You can't run up on a kingdom that's protected, but you can run up on a kingdom full of boys. You can run up on a kingdom full of boys.
The best things won't come out, the best of you won't show up. Do you feel that all you know is sorrow? Why do you allow misery to handcuff you? To chain you down, resurrect yourself from the pit of darkness, music, because misery doesn't have the right to control your life when the rest of the world says no to you. You say yes to yourself, you say yes. I believe you say yes, I can do it, you say yes. Nothing can stop me, there's no time to give up. This is the opportunity to be greater than your fears. Be stronger than your doubts, make your mind matter. Misery, it will continue to do all that is necessary. To succeed, misery is on a mission to take everything away from you.
Nursing is a gift. Networking is a gift. Child care is a gift. Those are gifts, man. People, you can have a great life at that. But don't come out here to sing and dance if that ain't what you do. They're going to eat you alive in LA. They're going to swallow you up, man. LA's a hard place to go to be successful. Very, very difficult, man. There's a lot of broken dreams out there. So that's my advice to you. It's your dream and your drive that makes you successful. It has nothing to do with education. So if you're sitting out there and you're not an educated person, don't let that stop you. Don't even let that be the reason. Make that be the reason why you become successful. That's what I did. I didn't have an education, so I said, but because you don't have an education, don't mean you can't be successful. You got vision, you got God. I don't know if you've read the Bible, but education ain't in there. Harvard and USC, Emory, it's not even in the Bible. It ain't in there. Dreams and visions, faith dreams, and vision. You be on Broadway with faith, dreams, and vision. And your gift. That's all you need to succeed. Now, if you want to be a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer, well, come on now, you got to go to school, right? I'm not saying, because school is important. But if you don't have one of them skill sets, man, what you gonna do? Get to hustling.
Your mind is very powerful. Bring in the goodness, moving with a purpose. Conditioning your mind is what this is about today, is that day and when and if tomorrow comes for you. Be even more powerful, be stronger than you've ever been. Rectifying yourself, believe in yourself, keep that faith in yourself. Don't let the outside interference stop your growth. Don't let those that doubted you and said that you did not have it hold you back. Don't let the losses keep you down. Because if you're down, how would you understand what it means to get up? What is good about being miserable? What is misery doing for you? What has misery done for you lately? Has it given you everything that you needed, made you a better person?
You'll never go back to the old ways. Join a new crowd. Join a new group. This is the place to do it. Take action. I recommended the last time I was here, the little book, Richest Man in Babylon, and I said I've lectured now to over 3 million people in the last 33 years, and I've recommended this little book to almost all of them, I think. Guess how many have actually gone and got this little book? Answer, very few. My best guess is 10%. Such an easy thing to do. In that last seminar, right, I suggested this little book, number one, is easy to find. Number two, it's easy to buy. The most you can pay for it, $6, $7, $8. You can borrow that from your kids. And number three, it's easy to read. It's in story form. That's why I use it for teenagers, teaching them how to be rich by 40, 35 if you're extra bright, much sooner if you find a unique opportunity.
Your mind, your abilities, your faith within yourself, it's all that you need. The steps that you take in your life, it's a process within itself. It won't be easy, but you don't deserve easy. Easy is not something that you should be looking for. Embrace all of the challenges that are necessary, but you continue to fight forward, you continue to believe in yourself. How do we allow ourselves elevate the game to go higher than we've ever gone before? How do we escape from the misery, the joy? Is what we seek the joy of living.
But if it's easy to find and easy to buy, and if it's easy to read, why wouldn't everybody go get it? We don't know. What do you know? You don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. Here's how profound it is. Some do and some don't. Now here's the numbers. About 10% do. 90% don't or won't. We don't know the mystery of that. And I'm telling you, 10 years from now, those numbers will still be the same. 10% will, 90% won't. The numbers don't change. Only the faces change. You're looking at one of the faces. I used to belong to the 90%. Who couldn't be bothered even if it was easy. Guess how many people have a library card? Wisdom of the world available. Transform your life in any value amount you want. By the way, how much is a library card in Texas?
The joy of pursuing, the joy of believing. Are you ready to succeed? Are you prepared to move forward? Make it count, be productive, be powerful, and from the bottom of my heart, conduct your business. They say a mind of mind is a terrible thing to. Waste mind is so powerful. It's so unique it can do many things, and you are the one that is responsible for the thoughts that enter your mind. How did we as individuals, as people, get away from misery? How do we allow ourselves to elevate the game to go higher?
Do you know why true friends are considered a treasure these days? Because it's so damn hard to find one. Unfortunately, most of us are surrounded by toxic people who only pretend to be our friends so long as they can use us. It has become very difficult to spot these fake friends because most of them have become real pros at faking friendships. In my experience, these are the people who associate themselves with you for all the wrong reasons. Even if you expect a good time, you're eventually bound to have a terrible experience with these supposedly good friends. Number one, they don't tolerate differences in opinion. Look, real friends always joke around and argue about both trivial and serious matters. Fake friends also discuss these things, but here's the difference. They won't let you win. These friends won't let you rest until they've pointed out how they're absolutely right. Somehow, it's them who know the full context and have all the correct opinions. In other words, Fake friends require unearned, full-on support. There's no room for compromise. And you know what? This is bad for your emotional and mental well-being. You should have an avenue to voice out your opinions without being harassed. If your opinion is discriminatory, you should get reprimanded in a peaceful manner. And if it's them who say really offensive things, they should own up as well. Sadly, fake friends have this issue. They have a hard time accepting they're wrong. It's as if you're just there to please them all the time. You're not a friend to them. In truth, you're just someone expected to parrot their opinions. And if you keep on disagreeing with them, they will stop talking to you until you ask for their forgiveness. Respect is a foreign word to them. Number 2, they make excuses and break their promises. There's one pretty popular saying about friendship. It goes something like this: real friends will always have your back. Well, this isn't completely true because even the best of friends have many responsibilities. It still helps us understand why we'd want to have genuine friends. In contrast, your fake friends won't care at all. And you know what? We get it. It's completely understandable to decline an invite to hang out if you're busy. Friends shouldn't force friends to participate in social activities, but to always be unavailable? That's a trademark characteristic of fake friends. If you have fake friends in your life who are wearing you down, you simply have to learn to stand up for yourself, because you do have a choice in the matter. Number 3, you're only an emotional outlet to them. We've all had this experience. After class or work, you meet your dearest friend and talk about anything and everything. You ask each other questions. How is work? Did you see anyone you're attracted to today? What book are you reading now? The point is, you share moments with each other. Both of you feel lighter and more enriched, knowing that there's someone willing to listen to you and vice versa. So, what's the deal with fake friends? Well, they still listen to your rants and raves, and you're all ears when it's time for them to speak out. But here's the problem. They're more keen to rant than to rave when they're with you. Worse, they listen to your advice that they asked for, but they won't actually change their ways. In short, you're just there so that they can vent about everything. Maybe something good happened yesterday to them, but even so, they'll focus on the bad things that happened to them yesterday, or throughout the week, or the past few months even. Do you know about stress management? It's why some people do yoga every weekend. Some play video games. Others read a book while having a good cup of coffee. Then, there are those who scream into their pillow. Yet, even the last option is better than what fake friends do. You are their chosen way to release stress. Number 4, they're only around to get what they want. Have you experienced this? As you're browsing Facebook, a friend request pops out of nowhere. You check it out, and you're amused. It's someone you know at work or at school. You two have never really interacted beyond the usual greetings upon seeing each other at the elevator or down the hall. You can't even remember their name. But so what? You then proceed to accept their friend request. Soon enough, you realize the purpose of this supposed friendship. It starts out like this. They ask you how your day was. You guys talk about the stress of working or school life. You know, trivial stuff. But then something happens. Out of a sudden, they concentrate on a specific topic. This could be about your current partner, or your ex, or one of your siblings. This could even be about a possible crazy drunken night you had many, many years ago. You're not exactly sure why they want to know about something so personal, but since you already see them as a good friend, you open up to them. So, how does this connect to fake friends? Well, it's because they're only around you to get information. Perhaps they're a close friend of someone you broke up with. They only want to know who you're with now, or if you're feeling miserable that you lost your ex. Another reason for them contacting you is that they're jealous of your recent promotion. This friend of yours is really just hoping to get a shameful story from you which they can use for bullying. The main point is, they have no genuine interest in being friends with you. Number 5, they can't keep a secret. It's common to develop a crush on someone. It's also not rare to share secrets about love to your friends. After all, it's fun to have someone to tell stories with. Plus, who doesn't like getting teased once in a while about their love interests? So, here's the dilemma. Fake friends don't know when to shut up. It's as if it's in their nature to spill the beans the moment you're not around. They don't care about your right to privacy, or that you trust them enough to keep a secret. For them, it's all about the drama. They'll even tell lies if they have to. This is because spilling secrets makes them feel like they have power. That, somehow, this will make them more popular or better in the eyes of others. Do you know about Gossip Girl? It's like that. Fake friends are just waiting for the next big juicy gossip from their friends. As long as it's not about them, they're more than ready to let the world know ASAP.
Wasn't even the first round draft, Sam Bowie. I don't even know who that is, right? Sam Bowie. So he went from all of that adversity. He kept fighting and fighting. He didn't win first year. He didn't win second year.
They ready, warrior. Breakthroughs require embracing the things that make you feel uncomfortable. Your success potential will always be equivalent to the level that you're willing to be uneasy.
Simply being less than you can be, doing less than you could do, trying less than you could try, doing it with less enthusiasm than you could. I think it somehow damages the mind.
Every one of you in this room were born to leave your fingerprints on history. 9 years ago, man, I did this, and I would encourage some of you too. I took a piece of paper and I wrote down my dreams and my goals, and I slapped it on a bathroom mirror. And every single day I would wake up and I would look at it. And I said, every choice that I make, every decision that I make, I'm going to bounce it off. Is that going to help my dream become real? Or is it going to help destroy my dream? And if the choices that I'm making are helping my dream, that's the choice for me.
He didn't win third year. He didn't win fourth year. He didn't win a championship fifth year. He didn't win one sixth year. It wasn't after 7 years that he won his first title. Guess what he did? He kept fighting and fighting and fighting. And when I told my man A.W., listen to me, these brothers have shown me that nothing is impossible. He said, E.T., you got it twisted. It's past possible. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Revolutionize my life. He said it's past possible. See, this is the thing you gotta understand. When somebody say impossible, nothing, you still talk about two double negatives. You talk about a negative here, nothing. A negative here, impossible. He said you got it twisted, Eric. It's not impossible. It's not that nothing is impossible. It's past possible. Meaning that there's no way you can't do it. Oh, you're not hearing me. And when he said that, it changed my thought process, because I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Greatness stalks perseverance. Success is governed by the law of supply and demand. The universe will supply whatever your faith demands. Someone with real faith needs no external validation. They just own the dream with absolute belief. Opportunity will always find the person who refuses to quit. It's your faith, not your circumstances, that destiny bows to. Those brave enough to dive into the dark unknown to achieve their dream shall see the world begin to move and shift to bring about the circumstances required to call that dream out of the abyss and into the light. I'm Dr. Billy Allsbrooks, and I am blessed and unstoppable. Motivational art. Welcome to the Louvre. Impact 1 billion. And to God be the glory.
It's past possible. Oh, you're not hearing me. It's past possible. Meaning that not only can you do it, you're going to go way beyond that. It means that the probability of you doing it is greater than you not doing it. You're not hearing what I'm saying? When you say it's past possible, that here, not only will you do it, but the odds are in your favor, that's a whole nother level. It's past possible, meaning that there's nothing you can't do. That the odds are for you and not against you. So you go get that PhD. So you go get that master's. So you go back to school. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you hearing what I'm telling you? It's past possible, meaning that all you got to do is start. Because if it's past possible, as soon as you start, you know you're going to set records. You know you're going to take it to the next level. You know what's going to be that you're going to do what's never been done before. So I challenge you, it's past possible. If you're going to win the fight of your life, you can't be afraid to fight.
On my tombstone, I want the epitaph: be ashamed to die until you have scored some victory for humanity. And a victory for humanity is not a victory for yourself. It's not statues. It's not your name. It's just humanity's better off. Any of us, I think, should want the world to be a little better off for you having lived in it. That doesn't mean people praising you, not even about that. But what do you have to give with no expectation of return? No one ever told me that I had to search for meaning in life. Many people look for meaning in life as though it's going to be under a rock or behind a tree. And I'm thinking to myself, you have more power than that.
The choices we're making are destroying our dreams. That's not the choice for you. You have to learn to become mission, goal, dream oriented, and not in the moment impulsive oriented. It's like when you look in a rear view mirror. When you look in the rear view mirror, the words "read things in the mirror" are closer than they appear. And I need every one of you young men and young ladies to understand that your dreams and your goals, they're right there in front of you. They are closer than you can imagine or even think about a dream. They're right there.
That isn't true. Nothing has to give, but at any given moment, at any given time. So, for example, if I'm at the gym crushing weights, during that moment, my business is suffering, isn't it? Because I'm not involved in that endeavor at that time. That's just common sense. So please stop beating yourself up when one area is going great and another area at that time is maybe leveled out or is actually in a plateau or is even going downward. It's okay. Here's the key thing for me that I've done, because by the way, this is something I've struggled with, having my main business, multiple companies. I'm involved in 14 different startups right now. I've got my fitness life, I've got my Instagram, my YouTube, my podcast. I've got a family. I've got my fitness side of my life. I've got my philanthropic stuff, my foundations. I've got my jet. I've got pilots. I've got all these material things that need taken care of. 4 different homes, right? And then hundreds and thousands of people who depend upon me. So if I was seeking perfect balance in my life at any given time and I beat myself up because I didn't have it, I'd be a mess. I'd be a wreck.
It damages our self-image. Because here's what I've discovered happens. The minute you turn this around and start extending yourself, it isn't the value you get from extending yourself that's the greatest value. It's how you feel about yourself that's the greatest value. Because see, it's not what we get that makes us valuable. It's what we become. And part of becoming is to see what all you can become. See what all you can do. See how much you can earn, how much you can share, how much you can start, how far you can reach, how far you can extend your influence. Now, that kind of commitment to philosophical thinking about attitude and about activity, we call this the potential for life change.
I don't care if you're in the 7th grade or up to the senior right now. What you want to become and what you want to achieve, it's right there. Things in the mirror are closer than they appear. And the doctor, the teacher, the scientist, the cardiologist, the cosmetologist, the athlete, the entertainer, the musician. Whatever it is that you want to become, it's right there in front of you. But the choices and the decisions that we make are going to matter. And we've got to stop letting the opinions of people that don't really value you and what they think about you hold you back from breaking free and running at this thing with everything that you've got, man.
So I'm aware that certain areas are going to suffer at given times. Now, the key thing for me, though, is paying attention, okay? Here's what I'm learning to do better. I can't even honestly tell you that I've perfected this craft, but let me tell you what I think I do well. Whatever I'm doing, I'm present. I'm present in the moment. So what that means is that when I walk into my business, one of my businesses, I'm present in that business during that time, not thinking about my other businesses, not distracted on my phone, checking text messages from another business. I'm fully engaged there. Let me give you a really key thing I've learned as I've studied myself and the vast majority of my friends who I think I would call successful. They have the capacity to be in the moment they're in. They have the capacity to be present in the moment they're in. The people that suffer, they don't suffer because one area is spiking and another one's plateauing. They suffer because when they're in that moment in their business, they're thinking about their fitness.
Do the best you can. Covered earlier, but here's a good scenario for the do the best you can. I've got a good question for you. Is the best you can do all you can do? And the answer is no. Strangely enough, if we all fell on the floor right now and did as many push-ups as we possibly could, and let's say for some reason you haven't been into push-ups lately, I can't imagine why, but let's say the best you could do is 5. And you look up at the rest of us and say, hey, 5 is the best I can do. We can tell by the look on your face that's probably true. 5 is the best you can do. Now, is 5 all you can do? The answer is no. If you rest a little, you can do 5 more. And if you rest a little, you can do 5 more. And if you rest a little, you can do 15 more. How did we get from 5 to 15? It's a miracle.
because the dreams, all of those things, they're right there in front of you. But it's the choices and the decisions that we make. These are the currencies that are going to purchase that dream. Decisions are currency that purchases those dreams. Prioritizing your life is the currency that purchases those dreams. What you do is what's going to matter. Some of you got to stop playing and start recognizing that this is your moment. Don't you dare give yourself away for something that you're not, because you want to fit in. Don't do it. Don't you dare do it.